south side of the military base. Incilio, they're holding with one player on the bridge on the girders. They will hold it hard as iron. And D plus Kia going to fall short.
It's typical play from Incilio, actually. I think we've seen this from them a fair few times. I think with how definite the circle was down towards Sosnovka, so many more teams were able to set up. It wasn't hard off towards that eastern side either, so both bridges are in play, which is going to alleviate some of that traffic jam situation that you'll get going on, but it did mean that Incilio could set up nice and early. They even have a player over towards Novoreb Noyes. This is a lot of plans in action right now for Incilio. Watching it over towards the dockside there. There will have to be a very quick regroup from Incilio to hold out Thunder Talks. They already have 2 players down towards the south side. I imagine with the time that's going to be afforded towards them, the rest of the team is going to have to take a bit more of an Iron Man swim down towards that south side to meet back up with Shing as well as AJ.
Which means that the south side is pretty much the only available options here. Nice little spray down as Na'Vi take to the iron as well. Falcons falling short of the crossing, but teams will start to fully commit now to getting down on that south side. However, the north edge of that Sosnovka Island, this is some interesting compounds that lie just a little bit back from the beach.
Awkward spots around the map. Vicious making their crossing on that north side. In comes Nick Galaxy alongside with Na'Vi.
Incilio running down D plus Kia. Top going to descend for the Falcons, trying to wrap through Alpha 7. As they do manage to keep everyone alive for the time being. Top getting in position, but the long-range shots, the off angles for Alpha 7, keeping them safe for a little bit longer. Top is there. East is back on that high ground. With both sides, they'll try and make it work. D plus Kia, they have 2 players left. And they are seemingly going to be going down to 1 fairly soon. As Redlick has that off angle. 3 players alive. Incilio on the east side continue to just perform on this day. 4 eliminations found. High value from that bridge camping position. They've managed to transition effectively, and they're sweeping through from the east now, Blank, and that is going to make them certainly pleased with their performance so far. Off of 3 matches, they were able to get 32 points, and that is where we want to see teams vying for the top spot over that 10-point average. Getting 4 on this game already is great news to try and keep that pace up. Donkey looking to do that as well. Top there with a 1-for-1 trade over towards McGrellin. We're in stage 3, 45 seconds really to get this res going, so you can get that healing done. Carrillo does trade it off, but the flush goes through, and Alpha 7 lose 1.
Should be another good grenade over the top as well. Falcons are suffering somewhat. In comes East, another airburst on this one. Does get a tagger damage as well, so that gives him information, but it could have easily been a tagger damage on towards a knock player. He moves up, East has to back off again. S12K in the hands of Carrillo. It really did carry them through a lot of the group stage. And East is terrified to go up against him. Goes for the sprays, it's good shots, and East will finish it off.
East able to shut that one down, and Carrillo goes away for the game. 2 players now left for Alpha 7. They don't have to hold this bridge side anymore, but where do they go? Because Na'Vi's in the way of this rotation off of the bridge. They're going to have to fight towards the back here. Falcons will continue to drag them down. Next circle goes again towards that Team Spirit compound. It keeps the hill to the south of it as well in play. Teams will be vying for that, I'm sure, very, very shortly. Or it's very bad.
It's not good or very bad. It's very good or it's very bad.
There's no in-between.
There's no in-between, realistically. So it's hard to criticize Nomin because he has this weird playstyle where you're accepting that he's going to make some bad mistakes at times, but other times he will carry your team. Tong Jiabao, on the other hand, trying to rely on Flower in the back line.
It's going well, though. The spray downs over towards RCB, but finally Loxy finds his feet, steps forwards, leans his shoulder down, and charges. TJB pushed back, and now just 676 on the off angle. There's no way you get this res. You can't stay in the blue for RCB. The only way they get these players back up is if they move them forwards. They get them through. Oh, the wedge on the vehicle. That is really rough. Silas is going to go down here. Sara very likely to fall as well.
No way!
Pick him up on the bonnet. All right,
No way!
to be rolled on forward. Sara can crawl down behind the vehicle. They're not into the zone just yet. They might be able to find the res here, but it's so on the line. It's down to the wire. Wild might be able to find it, but in the meantime, the rest of RCB has fallen. That is the flush on the off angle, and now it's just Wild left for RCB. It was getting a little bit crazy there, but finally we find some sanity.
Okay, reasonable behavior. You know, like a rhino just sticks the player on the front horn there, and fair enough. Works out, gets him further into the zone. Unfortunately, there are off angles there taking shots at the same time. But for RCB, quick thinking in the moment after a wedged vehicle, which is something you never want to see in this type of moment. DRX, though, this is the team that I say usually performs quite well on this circle. But they're stuck down towards that south side for the time being. Currently up against Thunder Talks.
Looking to try and move in on that south side. I mean, that hilltop to the south is fairly decent to play from on the south side. You've got a lot of oversight to the compound towards Team Spirit, but the circle just keeps pushing you away and away from it. So that hilltop, less valuable now, not really ideal to go and fight for it. So DRX going to readjust, reapproach. Wild does fall for RCB. The last player there falls down. And I'm looking at the map and I'm seeing Kitsune out in the water there. I'm not entirely sure what he's gone for, but it's going to work out for them. Regroup there, maybe on a hovercraft potentially, to be able to get through as quick as he did. Thundertalk going to try and send towards the roadside, but getting lit up by Apex. And the second as well, soon to follow. 4MV staying alive, 7 elims and 4 players. Let's see what they can do from the southwest side.
4MV, this is a good opportunity. Look, the fact of the matter is, 7 elims, they've not done too terribly in the last 3 matches, up to 18 points. It's a good start for 4MV. And like I said, this is a team, although looking first place, looking more for redemption here at PMGC also. DRX moving around on that eastern side. Incilio, once again, into those final moments of the game with 5 eliminations early on. Great stuff.
Incilio down to 3 players though. They're trying to push in on this eastern side. You can see Nomi, the outpost for Team Spirit, towards the ridge that sits out there. And it's really difficult to move in past where Incilio currently sit. With the positions on the south that haven't really been taken care of, they can't move freely, but they're going to go for this crash now. Incilio on the north side are making their move, and Team Spirit have put a lot more pressure onto this east side. Kitsune moving in to bolster that side of their hold. Matic going to be holding the west almost on his own, as Guild have managed to survive for quite a while after crashing into this position, but they have 3 players and likely going to have to leave soon. Influence Rage just across the road from it. DRX suffering the most for it, however, as Soez goes low, goes down. Guild may be able to pick up another point. But for now, they are in charge of this game from the southwest side. The west edge contested by the Vicious, by Enigma Galaxy as well. And from the north side, closer to the coastline, that will be the major threat. Influence Rage clear out Guild, and on the south side, they will have a little bit longer to play with. Incilio, however, still yet to make their move fully towards Team Spirit.
Is this the Dockening once again happening before our eyes on an angle? This is the one time where if you're a 4MV fan, you're almost hoping for second place so they don't get too big for their boots here. That's all I'm saying.
Redoc's going to make things a little bit stickier on the west. Incilio looking to try and slow down Influence Rage, and seemingly it's going to be fairly successful. But it's 4MV, the main benefactors here. There is a knock sent back their way, but will that be a flush? Will that be taken away? I'm not entirely sure. Doc on that forefront does have a teammate right next to him. Apex is already going for the res, and Influence Rage will not be able to make it into this circle if Lil Boy doesn't get his skates up.
14 eliminations so far here on our angle. 4MV looking to start a fire inside this lobby towards Sosnovka. It started in military base, and they are certainly bringing the thunder over towards this north side.
With 14 other players still left in this lobby, there's potential to up this score fairly quickly, depending on how many they can pick up. But Incilio still looking to try and snaffle some of those away. They will pick up one towards Diminor on Incilio, onto the Vicious on the west side of this circle. You can see Matic off in the distance, up on the high ground, now has 4MV to deal with, almost solo. The rest of Team Spirit can't move in to help, but in comes the Vicious with that sideswipe angle. Enigma Galaxy as well. They're fighting on 2 fronts. Apex has been knocked, Redox goes down then, and Ralph is low, taken away as well. That comes through from the nade from Reapers. 2 eliminations found, and 4MV up to 15 elims. Looking to try and get that res. You can see Matic is giving ground and allowing them to move up to this ridgeline. He doesn't really have too many options.
I mean, here in the UK, purple signifies royalty, and right now they're looking like the prince amongst the purple teams that sat all the way up towards that western side. You love to see it. Of RMV taking this further and further. Team Spirit look to potentially shut this one down, but on the momentum they've got, they are blazing a trail forward inside this lobby.
It's not easy to bounce back. But with Doc at the helm, 7 elims under his belt this match, they'll see if they can find it. Kitsune, nade over towards Westron. Team Spirit still holding 3 players in this compound. And they found the opening right over on the west side. That's 4MV, who now have that hillside under control. The rest of Team Spirit will have to try and move across to try and deal with it, but Incilio is a bigger threat right now because they have to move. They know this crash is coming. Team Spirit are going to use a lot of time and a lot of nades to deal with this scenario, and this might allow 4MV to just fully take control.
These are some seriously unfortunate nades. I mean, the sidesteps have been unreal coming through from Incilio. Doc sending one of those Doc nades over towards Matic as he crawls back towards his team. Redlick will get a little bit of damage done. A fantastic smoke laid down over towards him. And now Team Spirit's more concerned about getting their boy back up in action. Must be limited on nades as well. They want that anchor point to come through, but 4MV starts to creep, looking over the top. And it might just be the Vicious to potentially bail Team Spirit out of this horrendous location versus Incilio.
The only thing keeping Matic alive is the Vicious as well, but he is slowly bleeding out. You can see his health bar almost nothing, and I don't think Team Spirit get this one back under control. Incilio with a last-ditch wide sweep here in the McLaren, and David looks to try and shut that down, but is it going to be able to find the crash all the way on the wraparound? The backline certainly not so lucky as Apex crest the ridgeline over towards their high ground counterpoint. On the east edge, they have the blue zone pushing. Fash has to step up, Redlick as well. Incilio not long for this one.
Doc is going insane inside this game. 8 eliminations. The nades have been flowing thick and fast. The Baron of the zone, the Apex Predator of the circle. And Doc, he needs no introductions.
Team Spirit on the rollout. 1 player dropped by the wayside. It's Kitsune and Effects to move into the rest of the match. Spray down over towards 3TN, and 3 teams remain. The Vicious on the off angle. 2 players there. Team Spirit as a duo as well, but it is 4 players for 4MV. Riding high. Over towards the high ground as well. Nades around the edge, and it is the first to fall. Effect is out.
Vicious with 2, but Kitsune right now looking like easy prey for 4MV. Kitsune looking to take his fate into his own hands. A Molotov drops to the ground, then he'll burn to a crisp. Kitsune is out. Now down to 2 players, the Vicious and 4MV. 21 eliminations, looking to break their previous record.
23 eliminations potentially on the cards here for 4MV as Doc sweeps out to the wide angle. 2 players stand in their way right now. A big nade could cause some upset, but I just don't think it's going to happen. The middle of the circle, sure, is over the way of the Vicious, I think. Or is it over towards the middle for Baron there? Because he might just have a little bit closer to it.
You got your glasses on, lad.
I do. I've had to readjust. We're back in. They're both purple on the map blank. It's confusing, but I'll tell you what I'm sure of. It's Doc moving forwards. He wants these last 2 players go. As a crossfire on the nades. This is dangerous. Okay. Uh-oh.
Classic Doc back in action.
Oh, no.
You hate to see it. The Vicious, though, currently on the outer edge at the moment. 4MV holding a lot of space. Doc gives his life for the rest of the team. A lovely shot from Baron. Now 1 more left remaining, and Reefus looks to finish it off, and it's 4MV with 23 eliminations and a chicken dinner on our last Erangel of the day.
From last chance to the top spot here with a massive chicken dinner. 4MV make themselves known.
It is redemption, it is the dockening, and 4MV is back.